Smile and learn.
Sort it out. Sort it out. Together we'll sort it out.
I have a problem, I gotta act with a cool head. Take a deep breath and I feel the peace spread. I talk it out, don't hold it inside. I open up, let truth be my guide. When the weight's too heavy, I seek a helping hand. I'm not alone, I can make a stand. I ask for forgiveness when I make a mistake. I forgive for peace's sake.
Count to 10. Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Talk it out. Let's find common ground. Slow it down.
Slow it down.
Ask for help. Forgive and say I'm sorry. Together we'll sort it out. Sort it
Listen
out.
closely, I value every voice. I see my wrongs, it's a powerful choice. I do my best, I try to improve. In every situation I find my groove. I cool down, try not to let it blow. I value your opinion, it helps me grow. I think it through, each step I take. And with peace and respect, no bond will break.
Count to 10. Take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
Talk it out. Let's find common ground. Slow it down.
Slow it down.
Ask for help. Forgive and say I'm sorry. Together we'll sort it out. Sort it out. Sort it out. Sort it out. La 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 la. Sort it out. Sort it out. Sort it out. Together we'll sort it out. Sort it
Hello, welcome to the courtroom. Here, people sort out their conflicts. But don't worry, because now we're going to learn the best way to resolve them. Let's go! To start, what is a conflict? A conflict is when two or more people with different interests or ways of thinking don't agree. This can create a problem between them. Conflicts are part of our daily lives, but the key is that we can learn from them and, more importantly, resolve them. For example, here, two classmates are having a conflict over how to do their art project. She wants to use paints, and he prefers to use clay. As you can see, they don't agree. They have different positions. It's important to understand that a conflict isn't a fight where you shout or say mean things. This is just how some people deal with conflict, but it's not the best. Instead, we should ask ourselves a few questions. What caused the conflict? Why did we shout or get angry with each other? That is the real reason for the conflict. There are 4 ways to deal with a conflict, and each one has its own communication style. Aggressive, passive, passive-aggressive, and assertive. Do you want to know more about them? Come on! Aggressive communication. Let's start with the aggressive communication. This is when we communicate disrespectfully by shouting or talking back. This doesn't create many opportunities to talk. When we communicate like this, we give more importance to what we think and we forget about the other person. Careful, we might get something in the short term, but we will probably hurt others' feelings. In the long term, the consequences aren't good. Aggressive communication can cause more conflicts. It can make us feel angry, tense, and guilty because of how we acted. It can also cause others to think badly about us. Passive communication. Now we'll take a look at passive communication, also known as avoidant communication. It happens when we don't say what we think or when we keep quiet because we are afraid of what others will say or do. We may not even look into the other person's eyes. We might completely walk away from the situation. This seems easier, but if we don't talk about a conflict, we can't resolve it. This can make us feel frustrated in the long term. Passive-aggressive communication. Let's talk about passive-aggressive communication. It's a strange mix of styles. It gets its name because initially it seems passive, but in reality it has aggressive intentions. It happens when we don't directly say what we want and instead express it in a less direct way, like through our actions, facial expressions, or with our tone of voice. When we don't communicate clearly, there can be misunderstandings. This doesn't resolve the conflict, it makes it even bigger. Also, when we don't express our feelings clearly, we can feel frustrated or angry. Assertive communication. Finally, we have assertive communication. This is when we express our ideas while respecting those of others. Here we clearly say our side of the story, but we think about others too. We negotiate to reach win-win agreements. This way, we can resolve conflicts and feel satisfied. What better way to deal with a problem with others than through empathy? When we put ourselves in the other person's shoes, we can better understand their point of view and look for the best solutions. So let's see. What do you think is the best way to communicate to resolve a conflict? That's right. Assertive communication is our best option. It allows us to express ourselves and set boundaries while being respectful and taking others' feelings into account. In the example of the classmates who had to do an art project, they reached an agreement using assertive communication in the face of conflict. They're going to use both paints and clay, and everyone's happy. The communication style we use in a conflict will have strong impact on how we resolve it. Put assertive communication into practice, and you'll see how easy it is for you to resolve any misunderstanding. See you next time. Hello, welcome back to the Court of Conflicts. Conflicts are disagreements between people when they have different interests or ways of thinking. Have you ever experienced something similar? Don't worry, it's normal. The important thing is to know how to solve them assertively. But first, what is assertiveness?
Assertiveness is the ability to communicate clearly and respectfully our needs, opinions, and emotions, without hurting others or allowing others to hurt us.
Solving a conflict in an assertive way is like preparing a cake. We must follow some steps to make it perfect. But luckily, here we don't need to distinguish salt from sugar. Can you imagine how my last cake tasted? Yuck. First, we need to recognize the conflict and identify what it is about it, so we can face it. Then we listen and consider everyone's point of view. After that, We will propose solutions so we can reason and negotiate to find common ground. Then we make decisions and put them into action. Finally, we must take time to reflect and learn from the experience. Let's look at each step to understand them better. Recognizing the conflict. Before solving a problem, we must accept that it exists. If we recognize the problem, we can understand its importance and think about what we can do to solve it. Facing the conflict. Let's get to work. Now we must face the problem and try to solve it. If we wait, we might not be able to reach an agreement, and the conflict will continue or become worse. Valuing points of view. It is very important to listen to others and consider their points of view. If we do this, we can understand their reasons and preferences while also considering and expressing our own interests. Proposing solutions. After listening to everyone involved, we propose solutions and alternatives. All ideas are welcome. We need everyone's help to solve a conflict assertively. Reasoning and negotiating. After sharing our ideas, we negotiate to reach an agreement. We should consider which option is best for the majority of the group. We might not get everything we wanted initially, but everyone should be satisfied in the end. Making decisions and implementing them. After negotiating, we have to decide which is the best option and put it into practice. Reflecting and learning. After the whole process, it's time to reflect. Let's ask ourselves, what was the conflict about? How did I deal with it? How did others deal with it? Did we solve the conflict? If the answer to the last question is yes, great! We solved the conflict assertively. If our answer is no, we may need to go back to some of the previous steps and see what we can do to better achieve this. Maybe there was an idea we didn't consider, we didn't value another person's perspective, or maybe we need to look at the situation from a different point of view. Don't give up. Every problem has a solution. Remember, we don't have to do all this alone. Depending on the conflict and the people involved, we may ask an adult for help. I encourage you to try to solve conflicts in an assertive way so you can learn from the experience and apply that knowledge in the future. See you next time.
Hello, welcome back to the Court of Conflicts. You're here just in time to join me in today's case. Let's get started. Olivia and Marco have to work together for art class, but Marco wants to use clay and Olivia wants to paint. How can they resolve this conflict assertively? Let's go through it step by step.
Assertiveness is the ability to communicate clearly and respectfully our needs, opinions, and emotions, without hurting others or allowing others to hurt us.
Now, Let's see how we can put it into practice. Step 1. Recognize the conflict. The first thing is to recognize that there is a conflict. We know that Marco wants to use clay and Olivia wants paint. They both have different ideas, and that's fine, but the important thing is to figure out how to resolve it. Step 2. Face the conflict. Now they must face the conflict. Marco and Olivia sit down together and decide to talk about what they want to do. Marco explains that he wants to make a clay sculpture, and Olivia tells them that she really enjoys painting, especially combining colors and creating shapes on a canvas. Step 3. Valuing points of view. It is important to listen and value each other's points of view. Marco and Olivia pay attention to what the other says without interrupting and communicate using phrases like, "I understand your point of view," or "I see that you love this and enjoy it." Step 4. Propose solutions. Now it is time to propose solutions. Both sides can think of ideas that combine their interests. In this case, Marco proposes making a sculpture that they can paint later, and Olivia proposes making 2 smaller projects, a small sculpture and a small painting. Step 5. Reason and negotiate. Both sides give reasons to support their ideas. Marco tells Olivia that he wants to combine both techniques instead of doing double work, since the idea is to work as a team. Olivia agrees with Marco that they should work together. What a fun way to explore a new way of making art. Step 6. Make decisions and implement them. Great! Marco and Olivia have made a decision. Now it's time to get to work and make it a reality. They're going to make the sculpture out of clay, and then paint it with fun colors. Step 7. Think and learn. After finishing their project, they can think about what they learned. They're happy because they found a solution that they were both okay with. They had fun and they used new techniques. Thinking about what they learned will help them in similar situations in the future. Thank you for joining us to help these great friends resolve their conflict assertively. Did you know that they got an A on the project? There's nothing like teamwork. I'm sure you've learned something too, so go put it into practice. See you next time. Hello, welcome back to the Court of Conflicts.
Today we're going to learn to identify the possible causes of conflicts and their different types. Let's start.
The first thing we have to do to understand a conflict is think about if its cause was intentional or unintentional. On the one hand, conflicts caused intentionally happen on purpose. People create the conflict with a clear goal in mind, like defending an opinion, presenting a point of view, or even causing harm to another person. For example, fighting for something important to you, or starting a rumor to make someone feel bad. On the other hand, conflicts caused unintentionally happen by accident, without trying to harm others. For example, when a classmate runs to the cafeteria and accidentally pushes others, which makes them angry. Having a conflict is like getting gum on your shoe. Nobody wants it, but with a little effort, we can clean it up. Conflicts are a natural part of life and happen for different reasons. It's important to identify the cause of the problem in order to know how to resolve it. The causes can come from disagreements, misunderstandings, or made-up situations. And as we said before, they can be intentional or unintentional. If we manage them and our emotions well, we can learn a lot. Conflict from disagreements. First, let's talk about conflict from disagreements. This happens when there's a real difference of opinions, interests, or ideas between people. For example, when two friends argue over who should have the ball because they both want to play with it at the same time. This is a conflict they need to resolve together. Hey guys, why don't you just play together? Conflict from misunderstandings. There is also conflict because of misunderstandings. Here, the problem comes from not communicating or not understanding a situation. For example, imagine someone gets upset because they think their friend ignored them in the streets when actually they didn't see them because they weren't wearing their glasses. Communicating assertively is the best way to resolve these conflicts. Conflict over made-up situations. Finally, there is conflict from made-up situations. This type of conflict occurs when someone creates a problem on purpose because they want to make another person feel bad. For example, making something up so that others will think badly of them or hiding something from a classmate. We must always avoid this type of conflict. Intentionally harming others never ends well. Conflicts can be of two types depending on the people involved: intrapersonal conflicts or interpersonal conflicts. Intrapersonal conflicts. A person experiences intrapersonal conflicts within themselves. They occur when we aren't sure what choice to make, like what we feel like doing versus doing the right thing. For example, if you find a lost puppy on the street, you may want to keep it, but you know that the right thing to do is to find its owner and return it to them. Interpersonal conflicts happen between several people. These conflicts can occur between two people or in a group if everyone wants something different and cannot agree. In a conflict, there are people confronting each other and others just watching. These are the witnesses or spectators if they're not directly involved. If we see a fight or argument where someone could get hurt, we should talk to an adult and try to stop the situation from getting worse. Watch out! If we ignore the problem, we're taking the side of the aggressor. Let's do our part to help everyone get along. Remember, it's normal to have a conflict from time to time, but the important thing is to learn how to resolve it. Let's talk, listen, and solve problems together. See you next time.
We've learned so much in just one video. Did you know there are many more videos? Imagine how much you could learn. Subscribe to the Smile and Learn educational channel to learn and have fun at the same time.